Hey there, Heraclitus. You seem to be in a trance.
Oh, I hardly noticed you arriving. I was busy thinking, as I love to do. It's fascinating to look at the flow of the river, isn't it?
Ha ha ha. Well, that at least appears to be what this river is doing.
All jokes aside, my friend, if I were to step into this river and then step out, I would never be able to step into the same river that I just stepped into again.
What do you mean? Of course it would be the kiss of this river.
Well, perhaps you can elaborate your reasoning a bit for us.
Well, like, what I mean is, with each passing moment, the water that was over here is now moved downstream. The river itself is constantly changing, so it will not be the same river once I try to step into it again.
Well, that's an intriguing thought.
But wait a minute here. Let's carry out this thinking into a logical conclusion. When I look at fire, or a growing plant, or anything in this world, these objects look like one object that persists across time, right?
Yes.
Right? But look closer. Fire is a good example, because it's constantly changing, but these other objects are doing the same. The sun may look stationary, but is it not constantly moving across the sky?
Indeed it is.
And can we not apply the same reasoning to any object that we imagine?
Why, it seems that we could.
So are we not justified in concluding that the only constant in the world is change?
Well,
So, the only order to this world is chaos, you're saying?
Yes.
Doesn't this seem, well, a bit ridiculous?
Heraclitus, I see where you're coming from, but I don't quite accept your conclusion. Your mistake is that you're trying to look at the river as a whole, the burning tree as a whole, the world as a whole, without considering its parts individually. Let's take the smallest droplet of water that you can imagine. Keep on dividing it into smaller and smaller droplets.
Hmm. Okay.
This process is not going to continue forever, would it?
No, that would be absurd.
So eventually we will reach the smallest possible droplet of water. We might call it a seed. And we can conclude that the water is actually composed of water seeds. And the river is simply an arrangement of these water seeds, so that they are moving.
Well, that seems to be an undercut my argument. So you're saying these water seeds don't actually change. They're changing position, but not in their fundamental character.
Yes, precisely.
I'm not sure why you can put so much trust in something you can't see. Look, can we see these seeds?
Actually, that's the wrong way to think about it. The world itself is itself ordered and organized by mind. Nous.
I might like the idea of the world being organized in a rational way, instead of being just pure chaos. But why does it have to be organized by mind?
Well, nous is just the name I gave it, but notice that things don't behave at random. There's an underlying rational order to the motion of this river, that, for instance, the water flow downhill instead of uphill. The world is organized in a way that makes sense, and this is really at the heart of what I'm talking about when I say the word nous.
While I like the attempt at explaining change in motion, ultimately I think this approaches the problem in the wrong way. We are biased by our experience and our memories to think that time exists. That which is, simply is. Something both existing and not existing is an absurdity. Any sort of change involves something passing from existence to non-existence, and necessarily involves this sort of contradiction. The reality is that change is an illusion. The world is just what is.
So you're saying only the present exists?
It would be redundant to say the world is what is right now, because this invokes time, which is an illusion.
I'm not sure about this. It sounds a bit far-fetched.
I can't believe something that is so flatly contradicted by my eyes every second of every day. Can you really look at that fish down there and tell me that it is not moving?
Well, you seem to be very comfortable with the chaotic world, Heraclitus. But how did you acquire this knowledge of the world? Did you observe it?
Why, yes.
And in doing so, you had to observe properties of the world that did not change, correct? For when we say that something is true, we're saying that it is true for all time.
Well, I suppose so.
Then isn't your argument self-defeating? How am I supposed to acquire knowledge when this knowledge could change at any moment?
But this is my point. Nous organizes the seeds in an intelligible way. This is how we can acquire knowledge amidst change.
Your problem, Anaxagoras, is that while your philosophy appears to organize the world, it does no such thing. How would you summarize your philosophy? The world is this seed and that one as well, and so on and so on. There seem to be as many seeds as there are types of materials.
Well, perhaps we're at a dead end, then.
Yes, it's getting late. Perhaps I should be on my way.
Yes, but let's try to continue this discussion another time.